It's a play button. It was here. You saw it.
Invisible play button.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host Ben, and I'm here with
Megan.
Megan. How you doing?
Good.
We have been on a couple. We've collaborated with some podcasts before.
Correct.
One of the better the collaborations is the Cine Amigos.
Of course, we love the Cine Amigos.
Reminder to everybody: they are a movie review and TV review podcast. We first did a collab with them for Scream, the Scream franchise.
Yes.
We did Scream franchise. We did the Scream movie with them. What movie just recently came out?
Scary movie.
Which is a parody of what movie?
Well, it's a parody of a lot of movies.
Right?
The original was a parody of Scream, and this one was a parody mostly,
Right.
like, mainly of Scream as well.
So I think it would be fitting to invite them back. We have the Cine Amigos with us. How you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That was my birthday this week, so
Oh, happy
week of
birthday!
recording this, but
Happy birthday.
thank you. I'm excited to be 28.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then mine's a week after his, so we're both gonna be 28 pretty much a week apart.
Very
You
cool.
guys are going to be partied out after this.
Well, I already am.
I'm
You
only,
got no
Getting
choice.
older.
I'm only thinking about doing something on Thursday, so
Thinking. What happened is a
Thinking.
different story.
Well, we thank you, gentlemen, for coming back on. I thought it was fitting that we do it again in a parody of the Scream franchise. But real quick, before we do that, we haven't talked to you since Fan Fusion. That was about a month and a half ago. You guys came out and did the year one panel with us. What was your guys' experience about Fan Fusion overall, and then about the panel?
Well, Fan Fusion overall, it's a lot
Oh,
of people.
always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's been growing a lot, and then like there's just a whole bunch of people walking around the convention has been the struggle.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you guys started from the beginning, right? Going from the
not from the
pretty
beginning,
much-
I think it
but
was like the third year it was still good.
yeah, I think it was early on. It was like
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so me and Juan, we started off like when it was still growing, but seeing as the years go by and see how much it has grown, it's been a like good for the convention, like it's
Mhm.
growing for everybody, but at the same time it's like, man, I wish it was back to the days where it just like almost like that few hundred people here and there,
Yeah.
like over
Yeah.
like 1,000. It's like,
Definitely
Yeah, I
reaching
personally love-
capacity at this point.
Yeah.
yeah.
I personally love just that, mostly now that we're doing a movie podcast and stuff, every year that we go, I at least get to go to one actor panel and
Nice.
actually get to hear questions that help me learn more about the behind the scenes of movies.
Right.
Because you went to Misha's, right?
Misha Collins and then Danny Elfman.
That
Oh,
was
nice.
Danielle.
Danny Elfman was probably the
Nice.
most interesting one there.
Yeah.
He talked about how like COVID was actually slightly beneficial to him because he got to restart his music career again. He talked about a lot of like experience he had with like people like Sam Raimi.
hmm
It was very informative. I enjoyed
And
it.
then he did the Batman movie scores, right? The
Michael
after
Keaton.
the Michael.
Oh yeah,
Keaton
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, he was pretty much the face of like early superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and for me, it's my second year, and both of the years have been a blast. I love the time we had with you guys in the panel. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Fun. Yeah, kind of nervous because like we're not used to talking about like a crowd. Even though it was like a small crowd, it's still pretty
Nerve-wracking.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
only problem is that because of the fact the mic was towards Eddie and we were sharing, I kept on looking in the direction I was facing the mic, so I couldn't face the audience. I just kept on facing like I felt like I was facing one person, one specific person every time I talked.
Look at him straight in the eye.
But it
I
was
think the panel overall was a pretty good success. I got some feedback on the back end. There was a small, very large hiccup in which most of all of it was not recorded. Like not a single redeeming piece of it was recorded. So I had an idea that I would like to invite you guys back. We'll kind of re-record um, basically the same questions. I mean, obviously, we'll lose the vibe of the audience for sure. But I think the panel was too good for not to be recorded in some fashion.
Yeah.
So I'd like to invite you guys over soon, and we'll re-record your guys' first year experiences for sure.
we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, you guys gonna come back for a year 2 panel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it would be. I like the idea. Megan and I kind of talked about it for a second, but I'm like, what do we do when we're like 6 years and 5 years? And like, we're just
have
taking
you
over
got
the
any
entire con floor.
have you guys gotten any emails from any other people that were at the con that have needed help starting?
Um, Greg has emailed me. He has, in theory, he is ready to record. He should have something recorded in the next week.
That's Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. He was wearing
yeah.
a spam shirt on the first panel.
Uh-huh.
Erica is getting, she's locking up guests for her next couple of episodes. We reconnected with Oshi.
Okay.
We recorded with Oshi. She did a Transformer podcast, so we caught up with
Yeah.
her. We just
Yeah.
recorded with her 2 weeks ago or last week.
Yeah, last
Last
week.
week.
Yeah. That was a
Um,
really good time.
and then the Show Bros baseball podcast, they started recently too. So
That's cool.
Is that your son's podcast?
Yep.
Sure
Ah,
is.
of course.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey,
Um,
they can invite me over whenever they want. Like I
oh,
said.
don't! I've
Don't
talked
threaten him with a good time.
Oh,
they
don't
love
threaten
talking
me with a
baseball.
good time.
So yeah, we got enough. I think we'll be good for a year 1 panel, and then I think we should do a year 2 panel and bring everybody back again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So very cool.
we're looking to cross the year pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Exactly a year pretty soon.
August or September.
I think it was September.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's like September 1 or
Yep.
2 or something really.
Yeah.
But yes, I think we'll definitely get your re-record of the year 1 panel. We'll make sure you guys get copies of it because I think it's an important episode, especially for your guys's your channel to kind of just represent what that whole first year kind of retrospectively looked like.
Yeah. Good.
All right, but the reason we're here today, guys, we're talking about Scary Movie, the franchise.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your first impressions of it?
The franchise or the movie?
The franchise.
Franchise? Stupid, funny.
One, 2, and 3 are probably the funniest.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably the pinnacle of what Scary Movie is.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 and 5 kind of 4 kind of slides down, but it's still you still got those jabs in there without the Wayans brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Then to me, I think 5's the worst.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's the worst. We can
Most
all agree on that.
forgettable.
But-
Yeah.
But I still had fun with the Mac Miller and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the first mistake was making that one PG-13.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Never make a scary movie PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about the sixth one later.
Yeah, and like, for example, with me, like I watched Scary Movie 1 before I watched Scream. So like that was my first introduction to like Ghostface. I think I talked about it when
Yeah.
we did the
Yeah.
collab.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that's why it seems more iconic to me than Scream, only because I lived it in different order than the people
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah, I
we were
think-
born at an age where where Scary Movie started, while Scream was a little bit before we were born too.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. No, I think when I was like younger, I would try to talk about Scream, like this franchise Scream a lot, and people would think I was talking about Scary Movie.
Yeah.
So there was like a time where they were crossing
Yeah.
over so closely that most people couldn't even really tell the difference.
Yep.
Well, I think that's also just a movie that had the better written plot in a way, just because pretty much just Scream.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Scary Movie is a parody. Uh, what do you guys feel about other like the genre of parody? Not necessarily Scary Movie, but are there any other movies or versions or franchises that you do like
Oh,
in the
so
parody?
many movies like
I
Epic
love
Movie.
I love the reboot of The Naked Gun.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. It was really good.
Liam Neeson's comedic timing. You would
Yep.
not expect that from him.
Right.
Yeah.
But I watched that movie and it was so funny at the end. It kind of like got too much, but it was still like such a good movie to me, such a good parody for me.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time where like after Scary Movie, we had like that in the late 2000s, we had like a whole plethora of other parody like disaster movie, epic movie,
Superhero movie.
superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's like,
A Haunted House.
yeah, Haunted House was like more mid to 2010s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was more like in the raunchy comedy era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we
Right.
still have it though. I don't know if you guys have heard about the show yet. Widow's Bay on Apple TV.
Yep.
It is a great horror show, and each
I
episode is almost an homage to a different horror movie, which is
I
so
Yep.
great.
I have just started watching it and I'm on the 4th episode, have loved it so far. Um what what's the other one I had on my mind? Oh, Austin Powers. We're
Yes.
getting
Yeah.
we're getting a new Austin Powers now too,
Yep.
so
Mhm.
it's like that this type of slapstick slash
Right.
raunchy comedy it's making a comeback
Right.
now.
Like so you mentioned like disaster movie, epic movie, superhero movie. Do you guys like those that are kind of just like one-offs? Or do you kind of like the idea of like the franchises with Naked Gun, um, or even Scary Movie and some of the others?
Um, for those types of ones, I feel like a one-up is fine because there's so much you can like parody
Mhm.
nowadays with, and if you're trying to make a franchise out of that, it's just gonna be the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Especially with like superhero movie, like that was a good one-off because they basically got every um how'd you say parody cliche of what
Yeah.
a superhero movie is.
Right. They hit every basic superhero, every trope, and they
Mhm.
kind of just played it up
But
as a superhero movie. But yeah, I get where you're like, what would a sequel look like? The same thing with the same jokes?
yeah, cause like the scary movie, the difference is that it's what's happening in the
Yeah.
world at the moment, right? That's
Right.
what they're making fun of. That's what they're
Yeah, and even Jordan Peele mentioned that like how comedy and horror movie are pretty much the same. It's just like how you portray it, and that's
yeah.
why scary movie as a franchise can keep having franchises because horror movies like they adapt to like how to say it with the world as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do think when you go by a subject like that, it doesn't matter how relevant they can keep it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you can have some issues where like the jokes are too outdated in a movie that's current, which some movies I'm sure you guys have seen recently like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the like Austin Powers, there's always a new 007 movie coming out, so they have from that to pull out from. So we're probably gonna get a parody off of the Daniel Craig movies this
Right.
time around,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys though.
Yeah.
So considering we're getting into this time where a lot of these old comedies, like we're now gonna get White Chicks too. We had a new scary movie, Austin Powers. Do you think because they're a product of a different time that they can still be made successfully?
I think that I'm of two minds. One,
Mm.
as much as I love the Scream franchise and the Scary Movie franchise, and I love White Chicks, by the way, one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid, I kind of hate the fact that the whole of Hollywood seems to be tied to sequels right now. It's so much that they're trying to go back and dig back into things that were a product of their time just because they don't want to come up with new ideas. At the same time, though, I wonder if like bringing something that's kind of like raunchy and out there would be like refreshing, because if you think that, there's more of like a safe comedy nowadays, it might be nice to bring a little bit more edge in there. So I think people are waiting for something like that.
Right.
For the kind of content you kind of get more on the internet, you know what I mean? Like for in movies and stuff nowadays, it's still like the safe PG-13 comedy. You go on the internet if you want to see something edgy. I think it'd be nice to bring that to the main screen.
Yeah. Uh, I agree. The idea that we have to remake everything is much because I enjoy it and I like knowing because like part of it is what's going to be interesting with some of these newer ones is there's like 10, 15 years between. Like we're an entire generation different.
Right.
So like what was because you can go back and look at some old like 90s movies and you're like through a 2026 lens, you're like this is wildly inappropriate.
Yeah. And like you kind of run into, when you say product of your time, there was a completely different culture around a lot of stuff. So even I won't like try to touch too much into the Scary Movie 6, but there's like a whole culture around like, oh, making fun of people because they're gay. Like in the early 2000s, that was a big taboo,
Yeah.
and it was very he, and it's was like, oh, you're pushing the border now.
Right.
Now those jokes have kind of become so mainstream that they're not pushing the envelope anymore. So you do need to find, if I were to see like, White Chicks too, I'd like to see newer and better jokes, and I don't know if the weigh-ins are
Have
there
newer
for
and
newer
better
and
jokes.
better jokes.
Right.
They're there for the kind of stuff they've always been writing.
There is a problem where, like mathematically, the studios have found it harder to invest in new IP. But I think we're in a really interesting, especially this year. I think this will be a huge year that we look back on later, where we start to see, uh, like the idea that two YouTubers made the two biggest movies of the year for next
Right.
to nothing. So there's this idea that studios have forever dictated this is the model that we want to follow. This is what we feel is successful because they're like, we're going to put 100 million into something. We needed to make 400 million. Where they, because even like movies that break even, they're like, commercials like a failure. But it's like, how is it still a failure if it still made $100 million?
But how much of that also is just new blood? I mean,
Right.
these YouTubers are, well, I mean, like one of them previously made another horror movie, but they're basically new to this actual, like, making something in an actual
Like
theater,
Hollywood. Like,
Hollywood
yeah.
theater release. And we're seeing that they're gaining success from new ideas. And I hope that's something that, Hollywood would take and run along with. But then again, the established people who already make stuff probably wouldn't like to hear that very
No,
much.
right. Well, because what's going to be interesting is we're going to see that Curry can make a successful movie for next to nothing. And Hollywood studios might be like, we don't want to take a chance on it. But what we're showing is that people will show up for an indie film.
Right. And well,
So,
that's how you get like this success of like
right.
A24,
Mhm.
which used to be like, this thing that only your film buff friend knew about. And now it's a household
Right.
name. People will go to a movie just because it
Right.
says A24 on it.
But it also starts to show that you don't have to be a studio or a famous director or action or movie star to make a film because like
Right.
YouTube, I've been saying it for a little while where YouTube, I think, has some of the best content. All your true crime documentaries, all garbage compared to a handful of like YouTube people who do a 45-minute deep dive on this true crime thing, which is amazing. I don't need a 6-part miniseries.
Right.
So I think we're finding that um, we're going to start adding value to a different system than what they're used to, and I'm excited to see what that brings out.
Okay. So with what you guys said, it is a statistical fact that we have more originals than ever before in theaters, in TV. Just people aren't necessarily going to watch them. They're just tied to those IPs, to those franchises. That's
Right.
why those studios are going back to those franchises because those are the ones making money. Those are the ones people are going to. The same thing that they complain about is what they are doing.
But it's also the studios that are fronting the money for all the advertising. Like Obsession, for the most part, I don't think got a huge the amount of advertising money that goes into Disclosure Day is wildly different than the advertising budget for Obsession.
I saw ads for Obsession only after it started
Yeah.
getting popular, and then more and more people started going to the theater, and I guess they had the ad budget to run ads. But I only knew about Obsession from just being excited about films and looking ahead, and I didn't really see a lot of ad space for it. I didn't see a lot of trailer space for it. But you can't pay out, over
Right.
Masters of the Universe.
Right.
That's going to be the ad spot that got paid for the most.
So yeah, so it's weird to see that, yeah, there's a bunch of other content being made, but nobody's aware of it or seeing it. And that's, I think, part of the that's where the studio becomes a problem, is they're like, you keep making your little YouTube movie, but I have the money that can just blanket all advertising, billboards, and to the point where I want my opening weekend and you can have the rest of it.
Right.
Which is weird. I'm weird. It's weird that in 2026 that we still care about opening weekend numbers.
That's all they have.
I guess it's a broken model.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
well, it's very
goes downhill.
It's very. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was gonna say it is just so rare for movies to perform like Obsession, though, where like after their first weekend, they keep increasing the numbers that they had the previous weekends. So I think maybe that's why they put so much importance on it, is because if people don't go that first day, like, and word doesn't keep spreading the way it did with Obsession, it just will not be able to like make that
Yeah,
money.
word of mouth.
Right.
Exactly what I was gonna say. And that's what worked with Obsession, right? The word of mouth, and that's what didn't work with Masters of the Universe, where
Yeah.
they lost so much money, even though they have so much advertising and
But even though it was an amazing movie, like I think what really helps a movie, and it has helped even horror movies, the power of a meme, the power of being viral. Like Morbius, for example, when like they re-released, and people were just like hyping it up and all this, even though people knew it was a horrible movie. Like
Yeah.
it's all just because people wanted to meme around with it, you know.
Yeah.
So I do think like advertising is not as important when the social media is
Yeah.
your friend. Because Masters of the Universe, you guys said had a great ad performance,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day,
it didn't do
it
well.
didn't do well. Yeah.
But which is weird because I hear the movie is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I heard great things about it.
I actually
I
saw it today. It was
personally-
actually pretty good.
I personally enjoyed it and really liked it. So
Yeah.
here's I think the main thing right now is who it's catered for, right? The Masters of the Universe is catered for more of the older people,
Yeah.
and look at what Backrooms and Obsession is doing. It's catering towards our generation, right? Or a little bit farther out, the generation
Right.
Alpha, Gen Z, all those kids, right? So
Right.
that's why it made a lot of money. If you go to theaters, you see all these kids that are coming out of Obsession or Backrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you go to see Masters of the Universe. There's two, 3 uh 50 to 60-year-olds, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you're mining a nostalgia that only exists for people who are out of the I'm going to the movies for a date kind of
Right.
generation, when they need to be aiming more towards younger people. There's instead mining IPs that are so old that most people are not interested in them anymore. That's why Marvel did a really good job starting slow, gaining interest in the characters instead of completely mining like people's nostalgia
Right.
for them, saying, here's what Spider-Man is, here's what Iron Man is, we're telling you what he is. You don't need to know if you don't like read comics or anything like that. Whereas He-Man, if you don't know who He-Man is, you might go, I don't know what that is. That doesn't look exciting.
Which is weird. So part of the problem is we're making movies generationally specific. Like they haven't really found that movie yet that says this is going to be fun for all ages.
Well, they can. They have to make it new though. They can't
Right, but I'm
mine
saying that's
can't
where the
mine
problem is we don't have that
nostalgia.
crossover yet. We haven't
And
had
it
that one crossover.
Yeah, and it was and that Masters of the Universe was pretty much exactly like the old TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like the main problem with it was not even that. It's just like it lost in nostalgia value to Scary Movie, first of all. So
Yeah.
its opening weekend, it was already set to fail because people were uniting its own fan base to watch a Scary Movie that weekend.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
after that, you have there are great movies like The Furious. You have Disclosure Day. The biggest nostalgia, Toy Story 5 right now.
Right.
Superhero fans are uniting for Supergirl. So like it legit was bad timing of where they released it, no matter how good a movie it was.
It was even more bad timing because they didn't expect Obsession to do as well as it did.
Yeah,
Or Backrooms in that
well,
Yeah.
Obsession extended its theater runtime too.
Yeah.
It ain't supposed to be still out there.
Yeah. And then Backrooms became the highest grossing A24 movie, so you know, like it's just, I think it depends on timing. It all depends on timing. It depends on who it's catered for. There's so many little aspects to each movie.
Yeah.
Because even you mentioned Supergirl right now, it's actually not doing that great, considering it being a comic book movie, right? And the critics bashed it. I personally enjoyed it. I have my problems with it, but
I'm not gonna go as far as saying it's a bad movie.
yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's barely gonna crack the 200 to 250 million. You know,
Yeah.
it's
It's
go
just a cycle of life. So in movies, there's things that become fads and everything like that, but eventually they're just going to have to let go. So nostalgia bait had its time, and almost you would say like superhero movies are having their time. We still got some good stuff coming from Marvel, but that's the last bastions that we have before everybody becomes unexcited about that topic, and that's just normal. That's just the like cycle that you go through with movies since they were made.
Yeah.
So it might be that everybody's just trying to cling to that last thing that they're familiar with, but the genres, everything that is in there, whether it's action, horror, comedy, need to refresh and come in with new content or new creators.
Right. Well, I think we're in a really interesting time because we're at that point where we're seeing YouTubers at an age now where they're able to push a different type of movie, as opposed to in the early 2000s, it was the same 20 directors making everything. So as they age out, we're going to start getting new people coming in with fresher, new ideas. And then hopefully we start to see a different push for different type of directors. Because like, to be fair, like Curry, what's his name? Curry Baker?
Yeah.
For Obsession?
Barker.
What's interesting is like, that's probably one of the first, him and Peel, or like two directors that are newer. And what's nice is like, they have original ideas. They're both recreating the genre of horror. So hopefully we get to a point where we start to age out the older generation to be like, these are your Spielberg movies. Here's what a Curry movie looks like. And we kind of restart to rewrite some of these things. Coogler, same thing what he's doing with Sinners.
Zach Kragers is the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a really interesting time where people with talent that they've been using for 7, 8, 10 years on YouTube are now at a place where they got a fandom that says, I can make a really low budget movie and get 300 million people to buy a ticket. So I think we're in a really interesting time right now. But with all that new stuff, we're here to talk about some old stuff, the nostalgia stuff.
Yeah, Scary Movie.
Scary Movie, number 6.
So I'm guessing you guys weren't. Oh my God, I'm aging us.
Yes.
Stop. Maybe you guys weren't born when Scary Movie 1 came out.
What year was it?
When did it come out?
Was it in like 1999?
Yeah, it was like right after Scream, basically.
If it was 99, we were probably 1-year-olds.
Give us a fact check.
But I can remember that movie
Oh, it
and
was
just
2000.
thinking
Oh, we're
like,
alive, man.
We were alive, but not.
Oh.
I graduated high school in 01.
Okay, so he's graduating high school. I'm 10. But like,
You're 4.
I remember the impact of that movie. The "What's up" thing.
Yes.
Oh my god, people would say that everywhere. This was like when the
I still
Wayans
have the
brothers were
mask,
like
dude.
completely hot and on the market, and they like took the whole comedy scene by storm
Yeah.
because everybody thought they were doing the most amazing thing. And I remember watching those movies and thinking like, oh, these are like, first of all, very inappropriate for the time that I was like 10, so I surely shouldn't have been watching them. But they were super funny, and it was like my introduction into like an edgier kind of
Yeah.
comedy, which is super cool. But I feel like, so the first Scary Movie is obviously like probably the most plotted one
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
follows so closely to Scream.
Like beat for beat almost.
Yeah, like almost every single joke is about something that happened exactly at that point in
Right.
the movie in Scream.
Like real
And-
meta. Just be like, hey man, remember that movie? Right now I'm doing the same thing they're doing, but saying it's slightly different.
Yeah, I remember that. And like, there's the one when she's like getting all undressed and
Yeah.
the sprinklers. She like falls down in like a chalk outline for a body and stuff like that. And I like the tongue-in-cheek thing. I love the idea of making fun of the genre because I'm like a huge horror
Right.
head. I love horror movies. But it was fun seeing people like poke little holes in what happens in the silly stuff that wouldn't make sense in horror movies and stuff like that. But that first one was definitely like not my favorite one, not in a bad way, but it was definitely something different and something that we
Yeah.
hadn't seen
Right.
before. It was probably one of the first big parody movies that happened after like Airplane, Naked Gun, Blazing Saddles. Those were
Yes.
really big in like the 80s and 70s. And parody kind of went underground for
Yeah.
a while. So seeing it come back up in like a new, fresh way, because this was raunchier than seeing, well, not, there's like some raunchy stuff in
It
like
was the
Naked Gun, but like, it was a different way to see parody.
right. The beauty of those first two and what the Wayans did was they definitely brought in more sex, rated R, and they really pushed some boundaries on some of the jokes, but they really laid into the raunchiness of it that you don't see in 3, 4, or 5.
Right. So 1 and 2 definitely were.
It was them. They were like this.
Two would probably be my favorite. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
The-
favorite too.
the take
mean,
my
to start
hand
with The
joke is
Exorcist,
like the
like,
best thing
Let's
that's ever
start with
happened.
Not only that, it's the way the Wayans were able to diversify both of those movies, like poking fun of like a different culture
Mhm.
during that time, and that's why the other ones weren't as successful or as funny because the Wayans knew how to poke fun on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just pulled out the list of what they parodied in the first one, like Scream, obviously. They also did I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Sixth Sense, The Blair Witch Project, Friday the 13th, The Shining, The Matrix. It's not a
Yeah.
scary movie, but they did.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in the third one that they referenced the Matrix? But it was like a deleted
It's
scene
it's
though.
an
wasn't it?
ongoing gag for
It
that
was the
series.
first one when
Remember when
they throw the
They're in like that final fight scene, and then she like just is in the air.
and then he does the whole and then is like,
Oh, my back.
my back.
Oh, okay, yeah,
it
yeah,
was the
I
first-
remember. Well, I recall they do make a Matrix reference in the third one, but it was like a deleted scene where like she was supposed to be fighting against multiple people at once.
Right.
But then it became like a Charlie's Angel thing.
I think so. I think
Right.
they ended up changing.
Or no, that was the
That's
second
the-
Wait,
one.
no, yeah,
No,
The second
in
one
the
had the
third one-
Charlie's Angels for sure.
yeah. Second one was Charlie's Angel.
The third one they did reference the Matrix because she went into like the white room that he goes into.
Yep.
trying
The
to
Oracle,
figure
the
out
White
the
Room.
origins-
But that was
the
the
origins of
Matrix
the Colonel.
Reloaded that they
Yeah.
were referencing at that time.
Yeah. So
Because they were following the Matrix. So, like, when you
Mm-hmm.
think that the first movie came out in 2000, it came out right after the Matrix came out. So
Yeah.
back then, those were fresh references that everybody would get.
yeah.
Like, they were going after, it was unusual to go after movies that were so, like, recent. And it's almost like I'd be afraid nowadays to, like, jump on somebody's, like,
Yeah.
copyright or something like that, but
Parody law, baby.
parody law.
Yeah.
By the way, I will say I understand what the whole comment of like saying that lost its flavor after the Wayans weren't directing these movies anymore. But Scary Movie 3 to me is just as funny as the first two.
Yeah,
It is filled with so
Yeah.
many original like
definitely.
jokes, in my opinion. Like for example, the whole thing of fighting the woman in the TV had me
Yeah.
dying.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
thing
Oh,
though, but
yeah.
like it's the thing about that was the Wayans were still a part of Scary Movie 3. Like they were already in writing it, but then they fired them.
Mm.
So like
Yeah, Weinstein fired
whoever
them.
took over still had the
Or
script
wouldn't
of the
pay them as
Wayans.
much.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's why it still has
Yeah.
some
So that's why it's still
Wayans flavor.
funny.
Yeah.
And for the grudge scene was
Oh,
perfect. Apart from that, it was like,
yeah,
man,
the grudge scene is funny in that one.
Yeah.
But there was a clear tonal difference between those first 2.5 like parts of 3, because you can, like you said, you can feel some Wayne's essence through it. But when you get into like 4 and 5, total like they're still funny.
There's less plot in them though. They don't stick to one like
Rapid fire gags.
yeah. Just it's like almost
I
like a
think-
clip show instead of an
Yeah.
actual
I
movie
think
that's parodying
three
something.
what they did amazingly was that they cast another raunchy comedy guy in Leslie Nielsen as the president, and he was the one that started the whole Naked Gun one, so
Mhm.
that was funny to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of comedic gravitas, so
Yeah.
that definitely helped carry some of the gags.
Right.
And at the very ending when he like knocks her into the
Right.
well again.
It's because it's always
Or when
fun.
he's like, I pee with my finger too.
Yeah.
Well, it's always fun to watch when you pull actors in to do counter to what they're known for. Because like Leslie Nielsen, for the most part, was a hardcore dramatic actor for the majority of his career.
Yeah.
And then he did Naked Gun, and that's the only thing you remember him for.
Yeah, it's true. Just like Liam Neeson
Yeah.
when he came in on Naked Gun, it's like you knew him from being really serious.
Right. He was
And he went
taken.
to being
I'll
like
find you no matter where you're at.
yeah, so that's what the comedy in it is playing on is
Yeah.
your idea of him as a very serious actor.
Right.
Part of the
Yeah.
comedy is just the fact that he's being so serious,
Right.
but it's a silly situation.
There's something awesome when they do these parody shows where they're like, we want you to be what we know you as. Let's say this line, and they have the timing that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then just say it this way, and they're like, perfect, love it.
Okay, so I have a question. This is pretty much for everyone. So if you guys can answer one at a time. Out of all the scary movies, what are your favorite gag of all the movies be? So it doesn't even have to be your favorite movie, but specific gag that happened within one of them. If you two want to answer it first, and then the Cine Amigos as well.
I know what my favorite gag
Yeah.
is. And I've already said it. In Scary Movie 2, the take my hand gag. I don't know why, but it just had me rolling. And he's like holding on. He's like, take my hand. He's like, no, give me your other hand. And he just falls to his death. That was like, I don't know why, but it just like made me laugh so hard I cried when I first watched it.
And then she's like, this is my strong hand.
This is my strong hand.
I hate and love that gag so much. Because it's so hard to look at his damn hand, but it
Oh,
also
he's making
is
the dinner and he's
Yeah.
putting his fingers in the mashed potatoes.
and then you just
And I like it because they keep playing it, and
Yeah.
it's one of those jokes where it's like, how long will this be funny? And you're like, oh my god, it's still
It
funny.
just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a specific gag. I do enjoy a lot of like the cameos.
Oh, like the Dr. Phil and Shaq song.
Oh my god, the
or even in the new one where Carmen Electra, she still looks fantastic,
Yeah.
which is like great. But just like how like meta they are, and just everyone, because sometimes you don't know or expect to see them, and you're like, oh, that's brilliant. Like, how did they get
Yeah.
them for this one random scene? I love it. Thank you. But yeah, I like a lot of the cameos.
All right, Pablo, if you want to go next.
For me, it's in the first movie when the chick is trying to get out through the cat door from the garage, and he's just with a knife like scratching his head. That's my favorite. I love a lot of them, but that one's my favorite.
The first one that came to mind was in Scary Movie 3 when Charlie Sheen and like his brother were were arguing about when he was gonna go do his rap battle. It's just like that interaction was really funny to me. It's like, I have a dream. And what's that? To have a dream. And then he just leaves us, you just hate me because I'm black. It's like that whole sequence has always been ingrained in my mind, and I love it so much.
I think for me, my favorite is when in the second movie, or no, in the first movie, where Ghostface starts like rapping and he's like
Slashing everyone.
dicing
Yeah.
and he's just killing people.
Yeah.
And I just love like how even though he's doing all this stuff, like him and Shorty are just like friends for some reason.
Yeah.
Cause Shorty's so high that
Yeah. It's just once you're that level of high, you're just best friends with everybody.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna kill you. He's like, hold on. And then they're all I do like when they mess with the face. When they has his high face.
Oh yeah, with the mask
Yeah.
actually changes up.
Those are probably one of my favorite gags. Is they're always messing with like the different types of faces.
It catches you off guard every time
Yes.
too. It just pans over and you're like, wait.
And it adds to the absurdity of what's going on. They're all just smoking, and then all of a sudden he's just like, ah. Or the what?
Yeah.
If there was a Scary Movie 7 that comes out, are you guys excited?
I mean, it's
Actually, I'm still looking forward to it. I
Yeah.
do think without getting too much into Scary Movie 6, if they make another one, they need to be more current with the humor. I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe try to bring along some comedy writers that are good at that, like the South Park ones, like be a collab
Yeah.
between them and the Wayne brothers.
Right.
I would love to see that. South Park has been amazing about like every season trying to be current with the jokes.
Yeah, they keep updated all the time, I feel like, more than any other writers I've seen.
What's interesting about the South Park guys is their seasons are shorter, and they're getting paid a grip of money. Grips. I think some of their deals for the next couple of years are fucking amazing. But yeah, they write them relevant. Like sometimes something will happen and they're like, we have to get this episode out, and then
Yeah.
they'll work on it for a week, and
Yeah.
they'll just count it out. I think some of the stuff this year.
So you think that like the Wayans brothers have just been hanging out and being rich for 10 years and then they realized they had to write a movie?
I think when we get into it on part 2 at the Cine Amigos, I think there was I think they had a statement, and I think they had a lot of things that they wanted to say and more jokes about what happened with them and the franchise. And I think there was too many of those. Then they focused on more of those jokes of taking the shots at individual or the franchise itself. They did more of that than finding current jokes. I think
Right.
I think there was a statement made in 6, and when they come back for 7, I think they'll be okay. We're good now. We can now get back into what we do well, which is funny current jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll reserve my comments on this one for the review episode.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And honestly, like
Yeah.
for all we know, there's maybe some restrictions on what they could make fun of with the new movie.
Yeah.
The thing about the South Park creators that lets them do what they want is that they made amazing contracts when they went to Paramount. Like they
Yep.
get paid either way, and if their show gets canceled, they can take it anywhere else.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they
which is really
literally
nice.
can do whatever they want now, which is great.
Try to cancel
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, they even
okay.
try to cancel themselves. That's
Yeah.
they came
And-
after Paramount right after they moved on to them. I love them.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then-
the Trey Parker and what's the other guy?
Matt Stone.
Yeah, so
So,
they have they got years of pushing the envelope. So like they're Paramount's to the point where they're like, I guess I watched a video recently where they had the most shits in any regular TV show, and like the standards and practices is like you can't do it because there's 7 shits. So then they're like, all right, we're gonna make an episode making fun of the censorship. 137.
yeah.
Like so like they got they know how to play into the meta to the point where they're like, You can't do 6, but if you go absurd, fair game.
Yeah.
Because it's now part of the story, and like now we
Yeah.
need it for the story. So it's always interesting.
And the Wayans brothers already got not canceled, but like thrown off the franchise
Right.
once. Maybe they're a little
Yeah.
gun
Yeah.
shy.
I
Yeah.
think the handful of jokes that they did make, I think the way they ended, and we'll talk about that shortly. But I think they had something to say. I think they said it, and I think we can get back to still making again with if they do a 7. Do you guys have any follow ups real quick before we end and head off to the Cine Amigos?
I think with how it's done, I think there will be a 7.
Yeah.
For sure. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Right. There's
They-
no reason not to.
They made a lot of money, so they're probably pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for hanging out. And if you guys want to hear part 2, head off to Spotify, YouTube. Where can we find you guys? Where can we find part 2 after this?
It is Spotify and YouTube.
Okay. And what are we looking up?
Cine Amigos.
Okay.
There's also an
Perfect.
Instagram page. There's also an Instagram.
Instagram
And TikTok.
I mean, they were talking about listening to the episode. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, well, but you know we have got reels there too, so you know.
Yeah.
So if
everything.
you guys can't
Yeah.
find it on
YouTube.
YouTube or Spotify, you can go click on. I'm
This
guessing
one.
you put the links in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he puts the links in on TikTok and
Instagram.
Instagram too. So
That's how I always see your guys' videos first is on TikTok.
yeah.
Oh,
I see
nice.
upcoming video and I'm like, oh, cool. Click.
Nice.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in a part 2 over at Cine Amigos.
1, 2, 3.
Whimsy.
That's so much fun, dude. All right. So we're going to do